Hey guys, what is going on? This is Wrestlelamia, back with another episode. Tonight, it's a wild night of 11 matches, including 7 championship matches and a Texas death match. Join us now as Wrestlelamia recaps Full Gear and looks at the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. We'll also look at bad news for Hulk Hogan's son Nick and AEW's big signing at Full Gear. Ring of Honor World Championship match, Eddie Kingston defends against Jay Lethal. Eddie Kingston not only has to deal with the always competitive Jay Lethal, but his ridiculously large entourage. Ortiz shows up to offset the interference, allowing Eddie to get the 1-2-3, your winner, and still ROH World Champion, Eddie Kingston. Claudio Castagnoli versus Buddy Matthews. It's a slobberknocker supreme as the representatives of the Blackpool Combat Club and the House of Black batter each other in and out of the ring. Castagnoli gets the submission win after locking Matthews in the sharpshooter. Your winner, Claudio Castagnoli. Ring of Honor Tag Team Championship match, Samoa Joe and MJF defend against the Gun Club, Colton and Austin Gunn. Samoa Joe has agreed to help MJF defend the tag team titles on the condition MJF gives him another shot at the AEW World Championship. MJF starts the match despite having a big AEW World Championship match in tonight's main event. Joe locks in the Coquina Clutch as MJF retains the tag titles for his best friend Adam Cole. Your winners and still ROH Tag Team Champions, MJF and Samoa Joe. After the match, MJF shakes Samoa Joe's hand. Apparently, MJF's offer to give Joe a title match is good. The Guns attack MJF after the match, blasting his leg with a steel chair. They're just getting warmed up as they place the steel chair around MJF's leg. MJF is taken out on a gurney as Adam Cole stands by on his crutches. The Salt of the Earth is loaded into the ambulance as he pleads with Adam Cole to make sure he doesn't lose his AEW World Championship. Now on to the main show. 6-man tag team match, Christian Cage, Luchasaurus, and Nick Wayne versus Sting, Darby Allin, and Adam Copeland. Copeland comes out with Darby Allin-esque face paint on. Copeland wants Christian Cage, but Captain Charisma plays Captain Coward, dodging Copeland at every opportunity. Finally, Copeland gets Christian in the ring and Cage runs for his life, abandoning his teammates and allowing the faces to get the win. Your winners, Sting, Darby Allin, and Adam Copeland. After the match, Tony Schiavone meets with an AEW referee and Switchblade Jay White. Schiavone reveals that MJF is not medically cleared to defend the title. As a result, the AEW World Heavyweight Championship is being awarded to Jay White. Before White can claim the title, Adam Cole comes out and says he's going to defend the title in MJF's place. AEW International Championship, Orange Cassidy defends against Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley has said that he wants more than the title, he wants to destroy Orange Cassidy and end his career. Moxley is merciless, but the champ shows hurt and capitalizes when Moxley accidentally pulls off a top turnbuckle cover. Mox crashes into the exposed metal twice as OC peppers him with Superman punches and the beach break for the 1-2-3. Your winner and still AEW International Champion, Orange Cassidy. AEW Women's Championship match, Hikaru Shida defends against Toni Storm. Shida out-wrestles Storm, but Timeless Toni puts on an award-winning performance at Rule Breaking, using what looks like a silver tray to add some extra power to her hip attack, knocking Shida senseless and capturing the AEW Women's Championship. Your winner and new AEW Women's Champion, Timeless Toni Storm. After the match, Storm's fan Mariah May presents her with a bouquet of flowers. Ladder match for the AEW World Tag Team Championship, Ricky Starks and Big Bill defend against La Facción Ingobernable, Rush Dralistico versus FTR versus the Kings of the Black Throne, Malachi Black and Brody King. It's a non-stop roller coaster ride as all 4 teams pull out all the stops to climb the ladder and grab the championship belts. Ultimately, it comes down to Ricky Starks and FTR's Dax Harwood climbing to the top, but there can be only one, and Starks knocks Dax off the ladder, grabbing the titles to retain. Your winners and still AEW World Tag Team Champions, Ricky Starks and Big Bill. TBS Championship match, Chris Statlander defends against Julia Hart and Sky Blue. Chris Statlander looks to have the match won after a tough 3-way fight. Chris hits Sky with Saturday Night Fever, covering Blue, only for Hart to have the wherewithal to knock Statlander off, covering Blue for the cover and the title. Your winner and new TBS champion, Julia Hart. Texas Deathmatch, Swerve Strickland with Prince Nana versus Hangman Adam Page. Strickland and Page take the Texas Deathmatch to new heights, or new lows depending on how you look at hardcore matches, brutalizing each other with chairs, barbed wire, glass, and a cinder block. Page has the match until Brian Cage runs in, powerbombing Page senseless, Your winner, Swerve Strickland. The Golden Jets, Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho versus the Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson. The Jets get the Young Bucks AEW World Tag Team Championship match if they win, but must disband if they lose. Plenty of bad blood because the Bucks can't believe Omega is teaming with Jericho. It's a solid tag match, and despite the Bucks being one of wrestling's most well-oiled machines, Jericho and Omega are too much. Kenny hits the one-winged angel on Matt Jackson, covering him for the win. Your winners, the Golden Jets, Chris Jericho, and Kenny Omega. The Bucks throw a temper tantrum following the match. Omega offers his hand to the Bucks, but they turn him down. AEW World Heavyweight Championship match, MJF defends against Switchblade Jay White. MJF can barely stand, but instead of using his legs, he uses his heart as he fights off White's assorted attacks. The champ also uses his usual bag of tricks after an inadvertent ref bump, low-blowing Switchblade and knocking him out with the Dynamite Diamond Ring. Your winner and still AEW World Champion, MJF. Afterwards, Max and his BFF Adam Cole celebrate. The Good. A solid pre-show. AEW didn't mess around with 0 Hour, giving fans 3 excellent matches to whet their appetite for the main show. Some of AEW's past pre-shows have seemed like reruns of AEW Elevation. That wasn't the case tonight, and AEW gave the fans 3 solid matches and seemingly took MJF out of his main event title defense with a post-match beatdown. Captain Coward. Christian Cage played his Craven character well, tonight dodging Adam Copeland at every opportunity and even taking some shots at Ric Flair, who took a bump like a champ. Nobody plays the cowardly heel as well as Christian, and the biggest question following this match is how Luchasaurus and Nick Wayne will react to him bailing on them. A brutal bout. AEW isn't afraid to go hardcore, and tonight's Texas Death Match may be the promotion's most bloody and brutal match yet. Swerve Strickland and Adam Page stopped at nothing to batter each other so badly that they couldn't answer the referee's 10 count, with both men adding a new level of toughness to their characters. Page didn't lose anything as Swerve had to rely on outside interference, and Strickland, in turn, showed no quit. As hardcore matches go, this was a classic, and it hopefully elevated Swerve in the process, while reminding the fans that Page is double tough. Orange Cassidy levels up. Orange Cassidy may be a clown, but tonight, the joke was on Jon Moxley, who underestimated OC's grit and paid for it with a painful loss. AEW shouldn't treat Cassidy's win over Moxley as an isolated incident, but use it to build him into a stronger character who can still joke, but who can also fight. A sensational story. Tonight's main event was the type of match that was all about telling a story in the ring. Here, a badly injured MJF made a gut check and chose to participate in an ass-whooping contest with one good leg. Despite numerous setbacks, MJF hung on until his window of opportunity opened, cheating his way to win against an opponent who found out the hard way that nobody can beat MJF at his cheating game. Almost as good was AEW building suspense about how an injured Adam Cole could defend MJF's title since MJF was presumably out of action. This mystery didn't take away from the pay-per-view, but did enhance it. The Bad. Nigel McGuinness is awful. Nigel McGuinness was a fantastic wrestler, and normally, he's a decent to good color commentator. Not tonight, as Nigel healed things up way too much, going from entertaining to obnoxious. Thankfully, McGuinness reined himself in by the end of the show, healing it up, but also using his vast wrestling knowledge to describe the moves. Terrible Toni Storm. Timeless Toni Storm is a great gimmick, and one that's added some life to an otherwise flat character. The problem is that having her stick a metal tray in her tights was bad enough, but part of the tray was plainly visible, which made it hard to believe the referee didn't see it. AEW's Women's Woes. It's clear from tonight's 2 women's matches that AEW's women's division still needs a lot of work. AEW needs to start signing top talent to its female ranks as soon as possible, even if it means taking some of ROH's female stars. A puzzling plot hole. Tonight's main event was fantastic, but it raised the question how a wrestler can choose a substitute to take their place in a match. AEW needs to address this, as it is one of those situations that can be easily remedied, but that also seems like bad storytelling if it isn't. The Downright Ugly. Nothing ugly. AEW isn't afraid to go hardcore, and a solid pay-per-view with solid matches, including 7 championship matches and a Texas Death Match. Will Ospreay is all elite. Will Ospreay is all elite, but Ospreay stressed to fans that they won't be seeing him for a little bit as he has to complete his obligations to New Japan Pro Wrestling. Ospreay told fans to expect him at Revolution. Now that Ospreay is signed with AEW, let's look at what led to him signing there and not elsewhere, such as the WWE or Impact Wrestling. Fightful Select is reporting that Ospreay's new deal with AEW will allow him to work dates in New Japan. The Patreon site also pointed out that the good working relationship between AEW and New Japan led to New Japan allowing Ospreay to work a deal ahead of his contract ending, something Wrestlelamia suggested when rumors of Ospreay signing with AEW began to circulate. Ospreay's deal with AEW will allow him to reside in the UK, although how this will translate into appearing on AEW remains to be seen. Based on what we've heard so far, the biggest reasons for Ospreay signing with AEW is that he can work in New Japan on occasion, a promotion he has tremendous loyalty to since his career skyrocketed there, and his ability to stay in the UK. It's extremely unlikely the WWE would allow Ospreay to work in New Japan, which was likely a deal breaker. As far as money, no dollar values were given, but it's likely the WWE and AEW were close, and just as likely that Impact couldn't match the WWE and AEW's money. Other possible reasons include a lighter travel schedule for Ospreay and his familiarity working in AEW. Wrestlelamia will provide more details as they become available. Nick Hogan arrested. Hulk Hogan's son Nick Hogan has been arrested. TMZ broke the story, reporting that, according to online records, Nick got busted Saturday morning just before 4 a.m. in Clearwater, Florida, where cops booked him on suspicion of driving under the influence, noting he allegedly refused to submit to sobriety testing. As TMZ noted, this isn't the first time Hogan has found himself on the wrong side of the law. On his face, it's a simple DUI arrest, which, while serious, wouldn't normally be all that big a deal, especially if nobody got hurt. However, Nick had previously been involved in a scary car accident way back in the 2000s when he was just a teen, also in Clearwater, Florida. Details are scarce at this point, but Wrestlelamia will continue following this story. Well guys, there you have it, Wrestlemania's look at AEW Full Gear, as well as our exclusive analysis. What did you think of the show? Be sure to leave your comments, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and I'll see you next time for some more wrestling content.